Hello, my name is Pierre Masse. I live in Montreal, Canada, and today I want to talk to you about The Chosen, but not in the way that is typically spoken about The Chosen. I really want to address a side of the show that is not really spoken about. Is for me, it's I call it what I call an ecosystem because The Chosen is a lot more than just the episodes in each of the season. There's so much more to it than that, and that's the thing I want to talk to you about today. I also want to talk to you about today is the app on our smartphone, and what you can see on the web in terms of podcasters that review the Chosen on a regular basis. Because for me, all of that is part of the ecosystem of what the Chosen is all about, right? To get a full immerse experience in watching the Chosen and experiencing the phenomena, you need to get into all that kind of stuff, you know, because the Chosen, again, like I said, there's a lot more to it than just the episodes, right? There's always background videos, you know, inside videos behind the scene that they make. They make special videos for special occasions like the Christmas specials, the Gen Z, which is fabulous, fabulous. And then there's all kinds of other stuff that they do, right? So that's what The Chosen does on their own, plus the regular little blurbs that they do once in a while, videos that they post on various social media. So there's that, right? That's very important. There's extra videos in terms of the the biblical discussions with the biblical scholars. You know, they call it the round table discussions, right? So again, if you just watch the show and don't look at these extra videos, you don't understand or you don't get to see the thought, the care that was given into creating this thing, right? This show. You don't understand or see the explanations given to why certain things are done certain ways or not. And so that for me provides so much knowledge and depth, and you at the same time you learn. You know, you learn more about what it was like to be a first century Jew, what it could have been like, you know, meeting and living with Jesus and so forth, right? So I find that kind of information so invaluable, and it adds to the richness of what the show already gives you. Okay. So then we're going to talk about after that. We're going to after we watch the content of the apps. We're going to watch a video, not watch a video, but I'm going to talk about an interview that was done in December by a lady named Ali, an interview of Dallas Jenkins. And in that interview, which is almost an hour long, I highly recommend it. Is you really get to see and hear who this man is, like where he comes from. What he's trying to do, who the targeted audience is, and those kind of things, and the controversies that have come about, and how he dealt with them, and his perspective of things. So when you see that interview, you can't help but notice this guy comes from a good heart, and obviously he's an evangelical person, so he's going to tell the story based on from his perspective of his faith, right? So if that's not your faith, that's if you come from a different denomination or a different faith altogether, well, you have to understand or appreciate the fact that it's being told from this perspective, right? Other than that, you know, it's a great show, and so we'll talk about there's that, and then we'll talk about the podcasters. Obviously, I'm going to mention a few podcasters that I watch that are I find also are provide you with a lot of valuable information to better understand the scene or to better understand what's going on or what is being tried, the message that they're trying to portray here and so forth. All right, so that's pretty much what's coming up in the video, and then we'll take it from there. All right. All right, so now let's take a quick look at the apps themselves and talk about also some stuff on the web that's related to The Chosen. Again, it's important to recognize the fact that today we are December 22nd, 2022, and The Chosen released a new app at the beginning of December called The Chosen that I believe is targeted just for them. So I'm going to, as you can see on the screen here is my phone, and the apps the two apps that we see here that you can download when you search in the App Store or the Android Play Store. If you search The Chosen, you're going to be given two options. So this one here is obviously the Video Angel version, and this is the new app from The Chosen. Okay. So if we look at the applications themselves, let me bring down here. So this one that you see here right now is the new app from The Chosen. So when you launch it, this is the screen that you're presented with, right? Versus when you go to the one from Video Angel Studio version, this is the screen that you're presented with. Okay. Now, pretty much they're like 95% the same in terms of content. There's two big differences right now that I find very annoying, and I'm hoping that at some point it's going to be resolved, is the fact that in the Angel Studio version of the app, you cannot see the after show that right now they're doing starting with season 3, episode 1 and episode 2. So every time an episode is aired, there's an after show, right? So in the Angel version app, you will never be able to see that. You have to actually use the Chosen application, right? But in the Angel app, you have what we call here is the community tab, which is, I love this tab. It's a way for, viewers of the show to give their feedback and share with everybody else in the community, how they feel about the show. It's like a testimony, right? And when you click on there, people make comments and there's video blobs and what have you. So it's so nice to see people's stories and testimonies on how the show has impacted them, right? And everybody seems to be impacted differently. But again, most of these people, they're not theologians, they're not experts, they're just everyday people, either that have walked away from the faith and are coming back because of this show, or this show has renewed their interest in reading the Bible. I mean, they tell you right here when you scroll through all these testimonies on how the show has impacted them and so forth. So this is it gives everybody around us that are watching this a sense of community, because we're all being impacted by the show in a different way, but definitely we're all impacted by it. And when people give their testimonies here, for every person that has the courage to post something, there's probably 10 or 15 others that are not doing but feel the same way, right? So it goes to show how much of the impact the show has on people. Okay, so one thing also is, that I want to talk about here is the views, right? Like we're almost at 500 million views here as of December, Christmas 2022. I've heard Video Angel talk about over 100 million people have seen the show, right? And they said, I saw that when the viewing here was closer to the low 400 million. So there's a discrepancy between number of people having seen the show versus views. So I'm not sure what views is counting here, because personally, I mean, I go in this application all the time. So does that mean every time I launch the app, it counts as one? I don't think so. But so again, I don't know what that means. It'd be nice to have a little more clarification on that. But it seems that it's definitely not the number of people that have watched the show. It means something else. All right, so that's basically the two differences between the app. And obviously both apps, right, you have your option here where you can cast the content of the application to either an Apple TV, Chromecast, Google TV, and what have you, right? So this is how you're able to see the videos and the show on your TV by casting it to these devices. Okay, so that's on the smartphone aspect, the application on the smartphone. The other aspect is when you go use your computer, you can go to the chosen.tv and it brings you to this page. Like you don't have to type new, right? The chosen.tv brings you here. And again, you can do pretty much everything that the apps can do here, right? So if you say watch The Chosen, you have all the seasons here that are listed. You have the live stream and after show, roundtable discussions with the biblical scholars that are here for season 1 and season 2, but eventually they'll make one for season 3 as well. Bonus material, that talks about all kinds of things here. You have even the Christmas specials are here. And so forth. You have Gen Z, which was a great, show that they made. That's almost an hour and a half long, I think. And then you have various trailers. So there's many ways that you can watch the show from, right? But I find the community button in the Angel app such a wonderful. I go there almost 2-3 times a week, just to see what other comments people are making, and hear their testimonies. A lot of people now are doing video testimonies. They upload a short video of how how the children has impacted them, and I find it's amazing. Another thing that I want to talk to you about is some of the things on the web. Well, it's more like YouTube, because I'm a YouTube person myself. I'm not a social media person. If you ever want to know who Dallas Jenkins is, and what were his intentions, what are his motives, what is he trying to achieve, this is the one interview that they just did in December, that Ali did in September here, that I actually found by accident on YouTube, that I watched. It's almost an hour long, but it really summarizes in one video what Dallas has done in multiple videos previously, that talks about who he is, why he's on the show, why the show is not just biblical, it's 95% fiction, and so forth. So he really explains here, and he really explains where he comes from and why he did the show the way he did it, and so forth. And he understands there's going to be controversy, and he addresses it, that aspect as well. Ali brings up some valid questions that people have brought up in the past, and so forth. So if you want to know who the man is, what the show is all about, and the background story, this is, I find, the one video that you can watch that you get it all in one place. So that, just wanted to mention that. Ali, well done on the interview. And also, one thing I mentioned earlier, maybe if you didn't catch it, was the fact that the children, like I said, for me, is an ecosystem, because it has evolved. There's a lot. It's just more than just the show, the TV series, right? There's a lot of things around it that have come out of nowhere, you could say, and one of them is a lot of podcasters that are in the faith space, that are reviewing and watching the show with great interest, because obviously for them it's another topic to discuss, and in their podcasts and so forth. But so far, all of them that I've seen, and there's a few that I kind of follow, they're all have positive comments. Obviously, they have some reservations sometimes. Everybody has their own views of things. But I just wanted to mention to you, if you've never even looked at them, that I think it's worthwhile checking them out, because not only do they make comments about the scenes in each of the episodes, but oftentimes they'll give you more background about either the customs of the time, or how people behaved, and so forth. So you get a lot more insight into a scene than just watching the scene. You understand maybe why now the scene was done the way it was done, or why people acted in the scene the way they did. So they give you a lot of insight, which I find is very useful as well. Okay. So this one here called Now Let's Be Honest, right? The channel here, Now Let's Be Honest. This is a new one that I just found by accident. One thing that I like about him that he's trying to do now for season 3 with each episode, he's going to go, after every episode, he's going to go over them. And he came up with these 7 categories. And for each one, he's going to go through the show, right? The episode. So he's going to point out all the biblical parts in that episode that are biblical. Then he's going to go next. He's going to start over, and now he's going to point out all the historical one. Then he's going to start over and all the probable one, plausible one, and so forth. So, as a viewer who are not necessarily familiar with the content of the Bible, because maybe you've never read it, but you've heard the stories or you've watched, whatever, this would be a good way for you to watch the show and after the fact see, oh, this is biblical, oh, this is just historical, oh, this is hypothetical, this is improbable, and so forth, right? But again, this is from his perspective, right? That's how he views things, okay? But I thought it was very interesting that somebody is going through the process of reviewing each episode in that fashion. So I just, throwing it out there for you to look at. Grafted, the Messianic theologian, right? These guys also do the same thing. They on occasion will review each episode or scenes from each episode and talk about it and provide, again, background information about what it was like in the times and so forth. Sometimes I get good insight from watching these guys. Very nice. Another one is The Snipe Life. Brandon has a great channel here, and he's a big fan, obviously, of The Chosen, and he talks about it on many occasions. He does a lot of videos. Again, The Chosen is not the only thing they cover. Brandon will cover all kinds of other things, but I really like his take and his explanations about The Chosen. And lastly, we have the other Brandon, Mr. Robbins. I find Robin is very knowledgeable in the history of ancient, the first century Jewish man and woman. He knows a lot about their customs and so forth, and traditions. So therefore, he provides a lot of that kind of background information for each scene that he reviews when he reviews the show. So those are the main guys that I kind of follow. And, big shout out to all of them. I find you're doing a great job. Keep it up, guys. And so that's pretty much covers the, again, I'm not a Facebook person, so I'm not going to go into that. But obviously a lot of these things, these podcasts are broadcast through all kinds of venues, Facebook, YouTube, and so forth. So I'm sure what I see here, you probably can see on Facebook and on other, platforms. All right, so in conclusion, what I basically want to share with you is the fact that one thing I did forget to mention when we were reviewing the apps is the fact that The Chosen is supporting multiple languages, right? So right now for season 1 and season 2, they have a few audio languages and a lot of subtitle languages. But as Ali mentioned in her interview with Dallas Jenkins, the goal is to have over 100 audio tracks in different languages, and it's close to, I think, 500 subtitle tracks. So it's unbelievable how the show will be able to reach people in their own native language. And again, nobody else does this other than The Chosen, right? Because it's driven by the investors, the people that donate money to the show, and it's driven by what the show, the producer, like people like Dallas Jenkins, believe the show should do. And obviously, it's up to us to finance all this, right, by making our donations. But it's unbelievable. I don't think there's anything else out there that can be viewed in so many languages with so many subtitles, right? So hopefully we'll be able to reach that goal to reach people all over the world. And so as a big fan of The Chosen, for me, my day-to-day, you could say, activities related to The Chosen is always be on the lookout for new episodes, be on the lookout for new videos that are clips, vlogs that are produced by The Chosen people. Check out my community tab every 2 or 3 days just to see the new testimonies that people are doing. And check out what my podcasters are producing in terms of content for comments that they may have about The Chosen. So as a fan, this is you could say my routine that I do now, right? And for me, this is the way to get as much of it as possible. And it's a really enjoyable experience. So I hope you found this video useful, and I look forward to talking to you in the future. Take care. Bye-bye.